And a very good afternoon to you from Villa Park. You are with BBC Radio 5 Sports Extra 2 for Aston Villa against Bournemouth from the Premier League. This should be a very interesting game between two sides with contrasting styles. An Aston Villa team that like to play out from the back against a high-pressing Bournemouth that love nothing more than stealing the ball high up the field. Your timing is excellent. The two sides are wandering out to the tunnel here at Villa Park on a cloudy, overcast but mild West Midlands afternoon. The flags above the Doug Ellis stand opposite us are fluttering not so violently in a very light breeze. The flamethrowers opposite us bursting into the sky, and the players are lining up for the pre-match formalities just the other side of the centre circle. Alongside me to enjoy this, former Wales international, former Premier League midfielder Dave Edwards. Dave, afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, good afternoon. We're on for a really exciting game, I think, this afternoon. Two teams who, up until their last outings in the Premier League, were in terrific form, but they did come up against the big two in the Premier League in Man City and Liverpool away. But Bournemouth coming here, they'll be full of confidence. The opportunity to go second in the Premier League, if they were Aston Villa, their home form has been magnificent under Unai Emery, and they'll be hoping they can continue that this afternoon in what is an excellent atmosphere.
Always is. At a very atmospheric Villa Park. Bournemouth fans, long journey for them, but what isn't a long journey for them? Around 3,000 of them opposite us in the corner of the Doug Ellis stand. Villa just one defeat in the last 23 Premier League home games, very much highlighting the stat that Dave has just given you. And for Bournemouth, that defeat against Manchester City, ending an 8-game unbeaten run in the Premier League, which is the longest by any Premier League club so far this season. The team news: Villa making 6 changes from a 2-0 win over Maccabi Tel Aviv in the Europa League during the week. Matty Cash, John McGinn, Emilia Buendia, Ollie Watkins, Luca Digne, Boubacar Kamara all recalled. So that's just the one change from their last Premier League game, that defeat at Anfield. Buendia for Gessan. So Martinez the goalkeeper, Cash, Konsa, Torres and Digne, Kamara and Onana, with McGinn, Rogers, Buendia and the goal-shy Ollie Watkins up front. Bournemouth also making plenty of changes. 4 from that 3-1 defeat at Manchester City last weekend. Evan Nielsen, Adam Smith, Justin Kluivert and Veljko Milosavljevic all return to the side. Diakite, Jimenez, Brooks and Krupi on the bench. Petrovic is the goalkeeper. Smith, Milosavljevic, Senesi and Trufer make up the back 4. Adams and Scott Holding, Tavernier, Kluivert, Semenyo and Evan Nielsen is back in the starting lineup, fit enough to start, having missed the last several games through injury. So Krupi, Eli Krupi, who had been playing really well for Bournemouth and scoring plenty of goals, is only on the bench. Once again, no place on the bench for Harvey Elliott, who just cannot get in this Aston Villa side. Today is Remembrance Sunday, and Villa Park will shortly fall silent to honour those who have given the ultimate sacrifice. The Military Lions Club, members of the Military Lions Club, are together just outside the centre circle as the two captains shake hands, and the two sides will actually be swapped over. So Villa will be attacking the whole tent in the first half, which is not exactly what they'd like to do. Wreaths will be laid inside the centre circle by squadron leader Bradshaw and squadron leader Garbett, and For the Fallen will be read before the playing of the last post. So we will join the strong 40,000 crowd here in paying our respects to those who have given the ultimate sacrifice.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
The last post beautifully observed and beautifully played by bugler Leslie Jenkins. And with it, a paper card display appeared in the Holt End, which depicted 3 poppies above the words Villa remembers. And we are just about ready to go at a vibrant Villa Park. Aston Villa protecting this excellent home record against a Bournemouth side who have had a very good season to date, and will be looking for a response following their first defeat in 8 Premier League games at Manchester City. A side full of talent, a side full of threat, and a style of play under Andoni Iraola that is infinitely watchable. The referee is John Brooks, all in baby blue. Villa away and underway with Emi Martinez defending the goal away to our left-hand side. That's in front of the north stand, so Villa attacking towards the Holt End. So something of a change for Villa, who much prefer attacking the Holt End in the second half. They're in their home strip, the claret and blue shirts, the white shorts and the blue socks, against a Bournemouth side attacking from right to left as we watch from the Trinity Road stand, and they are looking very bright and colourful in pink from head to toe this afternoon. The ball a little loose in midfield. Evan Nielsen looking to put pressure on Pau Torres. He clears down the inside right channel. Trufair puts it out of play. Villa have a throw near side the right. And David, I think we are all looking forward to seeing whether Aston Villa change their style of play. So used to playing out from the back, but we know that's exactly the kind of opposition Bournemouth love to play against.
Absolutely, it's the big question. It's an intriguing game, 2 different styles of play, both very effective of course, but the way Bournemouth press high up the pitch and how good they are in transition as well, that might limit Aston Villa. And will Unai Emery just change his philosophy ever so slightly? He gave the ball away for that important opening goal at Anfield, Emi Martinez to Mo Salah, and it cost the team. They won't want to be doing that again, and Bournemouth will be preying on those moments.
At the moment it's Villa doing the majority of the attacking in the opening minute 20 seconds until John McGinn throws Trufair to the floor, and that'll be Bournemouth's free kick. John McGinn making Aston Villa appearance number 301 after his 300th in Villa's 2-0 win over Maccabi Tel Aviv in the Europa League. What a player, what a servant, as they would say, he's been for Aston Villa.
Yes, huge amounts of experience in this Aston Villa team. A lot of Premier League matches under Unai Emery, all of that starting 11 really. But John McGinn epitomised it as captain as well. Played Championship and Premier League and European football for Aston Villa, and he keeps getting picked every single week. Testament to him and his hard work.
Cash, the Villa right back, putting it out of play before Evan Nielsen can cause some damage just to the left of the penalty area. So Bournemouth have a throw, which is very much long throw territory, and we know this season's Premier League has almost been famed for the number of long throws we are seeing, and Antoine Semenyo is about to demonstrate his long throw, with several of Bournemouth's big players wandering into Emi Martinez's penalty area, including 18-year-old Veljko Milosavljevic, who is well worth a watch, the young Serbian centre-half. Semenyo's throw effectively cleared by Villa. Smith wins a header in the centre of midfield. He clashes with his own teammate. Play continues because Evan Nielsen was through on goal, but now the referee will have to stop the game because that was a crunching clash of heads. Adam Smith was one. I didn't see who the second player was, Dave. The game didn't stop immediately because Evan Nielsen had the chance, which Emi Martinez saved, but now the game has sensibly stopped, so 2 Bournemouth players can receive treatment.
Yeah, not quite sure who it was, the other Bournemouth player, but the long throw came in, well cleared by Aston Villa, and it just bounced in no man's land, and all of a sudden you had the one Bournemouth player, just still trying to work out who it was coming towards it from a defensive point of view. And then Adam Smith was running back towards his own goal, and they both fully committed, both went for the ball. Adam Smith got there second, caught his teammate. There's a melee of players we're trying to look for at the moment, but there was a cause for concern straight away. Even the Aston Villa players straight away urging John Brooks to stop the game.
Yeah, is it Tyler Adams? Can't see Tyler Adams as one of the players who are around, the 2 Bournemouth players who are currently receiving treatment. Both are on their side, so concerning moments early in this game. We can see all the Bournemouth team, bar actually Marcos Senesi, who's on this near side talking to his coaching staff and having a drink. All the other Bournemouth players are around these 2 stricken players right in the centre of the Aston Villa half, and there are several medical personnel around these 2 as well. So this is not the start to the game that we were hoping for, and we obviously hope that both are okay. We can see plenty of movement from both, so there's no immediate concern in that regard. Adam Smith is very, very slowly sitting up now, and he's feeling the side of his face, suggesting that there may be a little bit of blood. And both sets of players are certainly looking concerned, Dave, but encouraging that both are at least moving.
Yeah, I'd say there's more of a worry by the looks of it. I was going to say too, Tyler Adams initially, the other way the physio is kind of lying down behind his head, making sure he's not moving. But as I say that, all of the paramedics do go over towards Adam Smith, who's now sat up. But I think there is a bit of blood you can see coming from the side of his face. It's a nasty one, and both players were so committed. A lot of time you'll see the players maybe just turn their back on it, but both of them full-blooded went for the ball, heading directly for each other. It wasn't a glancing blow, they were running straight towards each other. One was trying to head it one way, one was trying to head it the other. And it's good news they're both sitting up at the moment. Yeah, the smattering of applause you can hear, because both players, as Dave says, are sitting up. It is indeed Tyler Adams, and we are a good 70-80 yards away from this, but we can clearly see there is a lot of blood running down the neck of Adam Smith. We haven't seen any replays, which is always a telltale sign that it was a nasty clash of heads. We haven't seen any close-ups either, and Adam Smith certainly looks groggy as he holds a left bandage to his head, but certainly encouraging signs that both are conscious, both are up, both are having animated chats with the physios. I think there's a couple of Aston Villa physios there helping out as well, because there are 2 Bournemouth players receiving treatment. Adam Smith is on his feet now, and he certainly looks like he's had a fair old clout. So the concussion protocol will kick in here, and they will do all they can, obviously, to make sure that both players are fit and well enough to continue. And we'll have a quick look down to see whether or not any changes will have to be made. Certainly, Dave, from Adam Smith's perspective, it looks like blood will be the biggest issue here rather than any grogginess. Yeah, it's all around, running down the left side of his face. His ear is covered in blood. It's all over his top of his shirt on his left shoulder as well. So I'll be surprised if Adam Smith can carry on. That looks a nasty gash as he's walking right in front of us now. Yeah, the Bournemouth captain will be desperate to carry on. He's making his first appearance since August, 34 years of age. He adds some experience to what is a fairly youthful back line. I think he's being told by the physio that he has to go through all of these checks and tests, and we know players, they do not want to come off. They absolutely want to continue, but we also know that for the sake of their safety, sometimes what they want is not always the best course of action. Yeah, they are making a change. Iriola's just called in one of his substitutes. Adam Smith is furious down on this near side, but you can see it looks such a nasty wound to the side of his face. You never quite know how you're going to react. I've been caught quite a few times with flailing arms and elbows, and initially you feel fine, but then it's 5-10 minutes later where you start to get a little bit dizzy, double vision, those sorts of things. But that's a sensible decision by looking at the gash on Adam Smith. Yeah, it'd be really hard for him to carry on. He is heading down the tunnel. He's not particularly happy about it, but first and foremost, both are okay, and Tyler Adams is back on the field. So that check was a very quick one on Tyler Adams, but Adam Smith is off. Bournemouth temporarily down to 10, and it looks like Alejandro Jimenez will be coming on to replace Adam Smith. That's like for like at right back. So Aston Villa 0, Bournemouth 0, but the ball has not been in play very long. We've played 8 minutes, but we've had a hefty period of time to deal with that sickening clash of heads very early on in the game. Bournemouth go long, Semenyo takes it well, spins away from Digne. Thought he was fouled as he was bundled to the floor, but the referee was close to it and waved him back to his feet, and Villa have the ball inside their back line. West Ham 1, Leicester City 1, a latest score in the WSL. In fact, that's now a full-time score, with Leicester equalising right at the death. Lovely ball for Matty Cash to run onto, and Petrovic is in no man's land and makes a decent save right on the edge of his own penalty area. My goodness me, Petrovic's sat-nav had to be absolutely bang on there, because he was on the periphery of his penalty area, and had Matty Cash hit that slightly earlier, Petrovic would have been handling outside the penalty area and almost certainly sent off. Yeah, it's a big chance for Matty Cash. Really should do better. He doesn't get enough trajectory on the ball, because he had a wide open goal behind Petrovic, who was stranded on the edge of his box. The move from Villa was excellent. A little ball into John McGinn, who absorbed the pressure from Truffert, the left back of Bournemouth. Gets him in tight, sets it back, and then a long overlapping run from Matty Cash, not tracked by Tavernier, and he's in on goal. And like we said, he should do better, he should score from that chance. Petrovic very lucky, scampered back inside his box and managed to get his hands up above his head quick enough to stop the chance.
Matty Cash, who is enjoying his start to the season, 2 goals already this season, one of them an absolute cracker here against Manchester City, the ultimate winner 2 weeks ago. He signed a new contract as well. He's become a very important player for Unai Emery, and that was a decent chance by Cash's standards. Buendia can't keep it in play far side the left for Villa, and that'll be out of play for a Bournemouth throw. But despite that long interruption, Dave, the signs are good for what looks an entertaining and open game.
Yeah, well, both teams trying to attack, and both teams are littered with attacking talent, especially players which are good in the transition. When you win the ball back on that turnover, players who can quickly turn defence into attack. Lots of pace in both teams as well, and both teams have started like they want to go and win this game.
Tavernier spins away from a congested midfield. Adams now. Scott with a lovely turn on halfway, but really well challenged by Onana. You need to be a long way away from Amadou Onana to escape his attentions, the tall midfielder. Evan Nielsen's touch not quite as secure as it needs to be, and Martinez has it safely back inside his own penalty area. And we get, probably for the first time, a little glimpse as to what Villa will be doing here. Martinez, who was at fault for the first goal last week against Liverpool, giving it away to Salah, and instead of passing it out from the back, he picks it up and bowls it out to Pau Torres. So maybe that is Villa's modus operandi when Bournemouth are high pressing. Villa lose their way in midfield, but Camara wins it back quickly, and he's on the edge of the penalty area, being encouraged to shoot, and he does. Petrovic low down to his left, makes a decent save, one that you'd expect him to make. Fraction of space for Camara, took it on, hit it well. Petrovic saves.
Yeah, it went long from Pau Torres into around the Bournemouth box, and it looked like they'd lost the ball, but Camara jumped on it so quickly, took it off Tyler Adams, moves by his feet just outside the box on the right hand side, dipping effort, bounces just in front of Petrovic. He manages to scramble it away for a corner.
Good start this for Aston Villa, who have this excellent record at Villa Park and also have a very good record against Bournemouth, unbeaten in their last 5 Premier League meetings, and they've won 3 of those. Corner, Villa, first one of the afternoon, in front of the Holt end, stretches up miles into a grey sky away to our right. Digne is over it, one arm in the air, delivers into a congested penalty area, headed away. McGinn picks it up on the edge. We know he can strike it from distance. Digne back in, a couple of legs are waved at it. Buendia shoots, blocked at source. Bournemouth can bring this away, and they can counter-attack at pace, which is something they do very well indeed. Tavernier leading it, Buendia chasing him. Tavernier away from Buendia, into the box. Good block, Emi Buendia. Excellent defending, appreciated by the fans, but then that pass back was not hit with required quality, and he did the first bit really well, not the second bit, and then passes it straight out of play. And I think Morgan Rogers now has said something out of turn, so he's gone into the book, which seems very unnecessary.
Yeah, fast counter-attack from Bournemouth though. Tavernier does excellent on this left-hand side near us. Sees John McGinn coming in for a tackle, flips it round and then uses his pace to fly up the left-hand side, but he's trapped by Emi Buendia all the way. Tackles it on the Aston Villa byline, wins it back, then inexplicably really tries to play a little clever pass back inside to Matty Cash and passes it out for a corner. So this is now Bournemouth's chance to put a good delivery into the box.
That yellow card for Morgan Rogers, incidentally, was for a challenge on Evan Nielsen, and he is still feeling the effects of it. Bournemouth have another man down here. It was a late challenge on the top of Evan Nielsen's ankle. No problem with the severity of the challenge, so we won't be having any VAR checks for potential red cards or anything like that, but it was late, it was painful, and Evan Nielsen, who's only just come back from injury, is gingerly making his way off the field. I think he will be okay, but having lost Adam Smith, they won't want to lose Evan Nielsen because he's only just returned. Eli Krupi is the obvious replacement, and he's warming up down below. Not a bad replacement given his goal-scoring form, but I think Evan Nielsen will be okay. And because Morgan Rogers was booked, he doesn't have to leave the field. And instead he'll be watching, I think, this Bournemouth corner from distance. Although, is he now coming off the field. Well, I'm not sure what's going on here. Anyway, Bournemouth have a corner, which Alex Scott will take. Left-hand side, deep into the penalty area. Martinez has to tip it over the bar, and that will be a free kick, a corner rather, to Bournemouth, and Evan Nilsson will be allowed back on.
Yeah, Bournemouth have got a history of this in recent weeks. They scored at home against Nottingham Forest of an in-swinging corner. It's from the other side, other side from Tavernier, but this side, Scott in-swinging it, and it nearly gets it underneath Emi Martinez's bar. Has to tip it back over for another corner.
Scott over this one, much deeper this time. There's no one at the back post in a pink shirt, and Digne will allow that to scamper out of play. Evan Nilsson is back with us. He did receive treatment, but Morgan Rogers was booked, and normally if a challenge goes in and the yellow card is shown, then Evan Nilsson doesn't have to leave the field. Anyway, Bournemouth back to 11, and it's Villa 0, Bournemouth 0 on BBC Radio 5 Sports Extra 2. Villa building from the back. Konsa goes long. Rogers will fancy that physical battle with Truffert, but Truffert just in front of Rogers dispossesses him, and then Villa very quickly around Marcus Tavernier, and they win it back very quickly themselves. Has the feel of a game, Dave, where midfield space will be at a premium.
Yeah, and obviously Aston Villa played in the week in Europe, and sometimes you can expect a bit of a slow start, but it's been far from that. They are very intense, especially pressing in and around the middle part of the pitch, not giving Bournemouth any time on the ball, and Bournemouth are matching that intensity, so it's set up for a really interesting game.
Evan Nilsson uses his strength away from Konsa and away from Torres, then try to find Tavernier, Clivert rather, with the square ball. That's a foul by Adams on Buendia that is roundly cheered by the Villa faithful. It's good to watch. The challenges are rattling in, but you suspect the referee John Brooks might just have to get a grip of this, because he's already had to show a yellow card Morgan Rogers' way. Digne down the line, good ball as well. Watkins on the edge of the penalty area, controls first time, now needs help. He's got Camera square just outside the box. Now Buendia on the angle, Digne's overlapping run, and his cross deflected should make it easy for Milosavljevic, and it did. Towards halfway, Evan Nilsson will get in front of Torres here, whose touch wasn't great. Bournemouth have a throw far side the right halfway line.
Yeah, it's not slowing down, is it?
No.
Spoke about the middle of the pitch being exciting, and they're straight off of it. Bournemouth down the right-hand side now.
Semenyo's quick throw, Evan Nilsson on the right-hand side of the penalty area. His first time low ball in was easy in the end for Konsa, who slams out of play, and Bournemouth have a throw midway inside the Villa half. Good start here, and a good start to the City ground, where it's Nottingham Forest 1, Leeds United 1. Leeds in front through Lucas Nemecha, but then 2 minutes later Ibrahim Sangare equalising for Sean Dyche's Forest. So 1-1, that game over on BBC Radio 5 Live. Foul by Evan Nilsson on Onana. Onana's on the floor. Evan Nilsson will pick him up slowly and will turn to the referee and hope he's not brandishing a yellow card. And I think his hopes have been answered.
Yeah, a little bit of a late one, but another sign of how aggressive it is in the central area of the pitch. Loose pass from Buendia, really. Bit of a hospital pass into Onana. He manages to just get there first. Evan Nilsson was committed, makes the foul. Maybe is a bit lucky not to get away with a yellow card.
What will also help the pace and intensity of the game is the weather, because the heavens have opened and rain is now falling from a very grey sky overhead. And because it's so grey above, it's making what we're seeing below very bright and vibrant and colourful, with the claret and blue shirts of Villa and the pink shirts of Bournemouth. The two head coaches not too far away from us. We're watching from a relatively low position, just to the left of the halfway line, inside the Trinity Road stand. So the two managers, or one manager, one head coach, to use the correct parlance. Unai Emery very much the manager of Aston Villa, and head coach Andoni Iraola for Bournemouth. Two managers who know each other very, very well. In fact, Emery unbeaten in 6 managerial meetings against Iraola. 4 of them at Aston Villa, and 2 of them at Villarreal when the two locked horns in La Liga. Two managers that have very much impressed in England. Iraola continues to impress with his work for Bournemouth, and Emery has seen it and done it a long time with Arsenal and Villa. Martinez goes long from inside his own penalty area. Watkins easily beaten by Milosavljevic, and a loose pass forward that Truffert will pick up on the edge of his own penalty area. Villa have looked okay up to the final third and then have not looked so good, but Truffert is dispossessed in a very dangerous position. Buendia's on the left of the penalty area. Options a little bit limited over there. Camera is lurking on the edge and then just runs away from the penalty area in order to keep Aston Villa with the ball and moving forward. Cash on the edge of the box. The focus of this attack on the right hand side now. McGinn square. Onana's left-footed pass. Camera back to goal, and the slow progress from right to left, and in fact Digne will go all the way back to Pau Torres, who's much closer to the halfway line than he is the penalty area. Digne's run down the left, and then he didn't really look as he played that ball inside. Bournemouth will be able to win the ball back. And you can just hear, Dave, the crowd getting involved. They're appreciating that Villa are building something here.
Yeah, the first bit of sustained territory from Aston Villa, playing inside the Bournemouth half. Negated the Bournemouth press, and they're getting a bit more time on the ball in midfield.
Onana down the inside left channel, the kind of ball Watkins loves to run onto, and he's on it now, left hand side of the box, onto his right foot, angles acute. He needs support there. He's got Scott with him and he's got Milicevic with him as well, and a combination of the two pink shirted players wins the ball back for Bournemouth. Onana then fouls Scott. Bournemouth have a free kick and just the chance to relieve some of the light pressure that had been building.
Yeah, Onana threaded a lovely ball into the left channel for Watkins to chase, got to it, and then you can just see he was desperate to try and shift it to get a shot away. It was never really on, but maybe a player who's not in great goal scoring form, looking for a moment, should have passed it, got himself in the box and then looked to get on the end of something, but just signs that Ollie Watkins not at his absolute best at the moment.
Only one goal in 17 games since his last, which was the winner against Bournemouth at the Vitality Stadium last season, and that was a significant goal for Ollie Watkins because it saw him become Villa's leading Premier League goal scorer. He would love something to get his season going. He's out of the England squad as well. Thomas Tuchel referring to his fitness more than anything else. Truffaut's low ball in, simple for Martinez, but you fancy if Watkins had started the season well and was scoring for fun, he would be in that England squad. So he knows more than anyone, Ollie Watkins, if he wants to be on that plane next year to America, he needs to get scoring and get scoring quickly. Martinez inside his own penalty area. Rain continues to fall. 5 Sports Extra 2 from the BBC. That Forest Leeds game is over on 5 Live. Brentford Newcastle, which is 0-0 on 5 Sports Extra, and Sports Extra 3 for the most unlikely of rivalries, the derby between Crystal Palace and Brighton. All of those games bar Forest Leeds are 0-0. Forest Leeds 1-1, and this is 0-0 here at Villa Park. Onana has to spin away from Scott, doesn't manage it, and now it's 3-on-3 in Bournemouth's favour. Scott has to pick the right pass, he's bundled to the floor, wins the free kick right on the edge of the penalty area, and another yellow card being brandished here. I thought Scott may well have been told to get to his feet, but he was bumped off the ball right on the edge of the box. Yellow card, I think, to Konsa, and a Bournemouth opportunity with this free kick that was ever so close, Dave Edwards, to being a penalty. Yeah,
this is the first time we've really seen Bournemouth be able to get after Aston Villa. It's Onana who turns blind in the middle of midfield. Scott reads it, wraps his left leg around the outside of him, and now he's driving towards the box. And it all starts to close up for Alex Scott. He hasn't got a lot on, and I think it's a calculated decision where he just knocks it out of his feet across Kamara, draws in the foul right on the edge of the box. Don't think Alex Scott really could have done too much difference, but he's got his side a free kick in a very dangerous position.
Yeah, it was Kamara, the guilty party. He just cut across Scott. Had it been a metre further forward, then it would have been a penalty, but this is a really good position inside the D, inside the semicircle, about, well, a fraction away from the edge of the penalty area. So who will hit this? There are 5 Bournemouth players around this. Antoine Semenyo is, of course, the favourite given the start he's made to this season, but Senesi is there, Kluivert is there, Adams is there. You fancy, Dave, it's that close that a power from here has to be the way forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Scored a very similar goal against Fulham, I think it was, where it was on the edge of the box and he just goes to pure power right underneath the wall, and we fully expect him to do the same again. But Villa would have done their homework. At this moment in time, they haven't got the draft excluder lying behind.
No.
so it might be an option unless they stand their ground.
They do have a wall that's only a yard outside the 6-yard box. To give you an idea of how close this is, it looks like Semenyo is going to hit this as hard as he can. No, it's not. It's the left foot of Tavernier, and it's over the crossbar. Well, all our eyes were drawn to Semenyo. It was Tavernier with the left foot in the end. He did go for power, and he found the gap that he was looking for, but he got too much on it, and it's over the crossbar. 0-0.
Yeah, just a little bit wild by Tavernier, leaning back ever so slightly, cuts across the ball as it swerves away high and left. That's an opportunity missed. Good work though from Alex Scott in the build-up, and Villa trying to play at the back, give the ball away under this Bournemouth press.
Yeah, just as we mentioned before the game, it was loose from Konsa, who was looking for cash, and he hit it with far too much pace, and Bournemouth, having just wasted a set piece, have another one here courtesy of Semenyo's long throw. McGinn is organising on the edge of the Villa penalty area. Semenyo has to just plot a route between a ball on a cone and a effects microphone in order to give him a clear path to the edge of the pitch to throw this in. And here it goes now. He falls as he throws. The Villa fans like that, and the referee has given a foul throw because of it. Well, he was a bit unlucky there, Semenyo. His momentum took him over the line. He fell forward, and I think by the letter of the law, John Brooks was probably absolutely right.
Yeah, he's pleading his innocence, isn't he, Antoine Semenyo? I think the linesman as well on our near side, he was wanting to give it as a foul throw, and a bit of relief for Villa.
And we haven't seen a replay of it, which is a little bit of a shame. Villa 0, Bournemouth 0. The voice of former Wolves midfielder, former Premier League midfielder, former Wales international Dave Edwards, who we talk of John McGinn's 301 appearances in midfield for Aston Villa. You must have been closest to that for Wolves.
307.
307.
Not that I keep count, of course.
307. Well, John McGinn is not far away from that for Villa. Ball over the top. That looks a foul on Buendia on the edge of the penalty area. Indeed it is. And a yellow card given to, I think that's Jimenez, who just lost Buendia momentarily, and Jimenez, in his efforts to win the ball, bundled Buendia down. It's almost exactly the same position as the last free kick for Bournemouth. It was Jimenez. Well, it's a clear free kick. Wasn't even looking at the ball. He just bumped Buendia to the floor. And now it's Villa's chance with a set piece just outside the penalty area.
Yeah, Villa took a quick free kick. Matty Cash inside his own half. The ball's dropped dead. He just runs onto it, hits a diagonal pass. Emi Buendia makes a run from really deep, beyond the back of Mina Savlovic. And you can see that Jimenez was unaware of him as he tracks him at the final moment, and is a blatant shove in his back. Definite foul, which John Brooks gets right. And Buendia now has the ball in his arms. He'll fancy this. It's maybe 2 or 3 yards outside the box, very central. Difficult one for the keeper. Which way do you line the wall up?
Yeah, it's another free kick, just like Tavernier's a couple of moments ago, that is almost dead centre. It's not quite as close as Tavernier's, but it is still inside the semicircle, closer to the apex of the semicircle than the base. Villa's wall is by the penalty spot, and is Bournemouth's wall rather, although there is a mini Villa wall there as well. So this is an Austin McPhee special, I imagine. The Villa set piece coach. Dinia's over this, Buendia's over this, the right of Buendia. It is Buendia, and it is absolutely brilliant. A wonderful hit from Emi Buendia, back in the Villa team, and back with a magical free kick in front of the Holt. Villa 1, Bournemouth 0.
Stunning free kick from Emi Buendia. So close, it's so hard to get it up and over the wall. And if he does that, then Petrovic will have little to no chance of getting there. He was rooted on his goal line. Buendia almost knuckles it side, but David Luiz, Gareth Bale-esque, up and over with a crazy amount of dip. Goes over the Bournemouth wall comfortably. They jumped and it's still up and above them. But the way it dips back down so quickly, wonderful free kick by Emi Buendia.
It's a fabulous hit. And you're right, that technique, the Gareth Bales, the Cristiano Ronaldos, where they hit it almost flush with their laces, that takes the ball up very quickly but also down very quickly, and that was the key. From that close, he couldn't really have hit it better. Petrovic didn't move, and in fact it wasn't in a corner, it was just that well hit that Petrovic could only watch it into the net. Buendia's fourth of the season. He's having a very good season, is Buendia. He was very much Villa's forgotten man last season, seemingly out of favour, shipped out on loan to the Bundesliga, but he is back in this Villa side and playing well. McGinn's early ball to Watkins blocked, and that has woken the crowd up as we see a shot on our monitor of Austin McPhee. And for all of Austin McPhee's intricate corners and throw-ins and free kicks, I'm not sure much thought went into that. Did it really just hit it like that?
He can't take any credit for that. That was pure technical brilliance from Buendia. And Petrovic in the Bournemouth goal, he can't really do anything because the Villa have got a strategically placed wall in front of Bournemouth, just the left-hand side. That is blocking Petrovic's view completely. In that situation, almost better just not having a wall and being able just to see your way through. But as soon as he does decide to go over the wall, you can't get across your goal quick enough without gambling too early. As a goalkeeper, you know not to get beaten on your own side. And if Buendia does what he does, then it's a goal.
He's coming forward again, Buendia, now oozing confidence. Kamara in the centre of the Bournemouth half. Cash is on this near side, the right, but there's no overlap for him, so he has to come back infield. He exchanges passes with Kamara. Buendia now cropping up on this near side, the right. Amazing what a goal can do. He won't be feeling any tiredness, he won't be feeling any fatigue. He'll be desperate to get on the ball at every opportunity. McGinn with a brilliant turn. He's found Watkins on the left-hand side of the box, onto his left foot. Watkins blocked well. Milosavljevic throwing himself in the line of duty. Watkins has it back. This is a good spell for Villa, leading 1-0 and looking for a second. Onana turns on the edge of the box. The goal scorer Buendia with his right foot into the heart of the penalty area. That's headed away. McGinn with the loose ball. Rodgers on the right of the box. Relentless Villa pressure. Rodgers shot deflected. Petrovic parries. Still there inside the Bournemouth penalty area. Looped clear by Kluivert, and Konsa will start again inside his own half. Villa lead 1-0, and they are the dominant force in this game at the moment.
Yeah, they have the bit between their teeth. They're going for this second goal.
Oh, that's loose back to Martinez, and Evan Nilsson nearly there. Martinez glares at, was it Kamara's ball back? No, it was Konsa again. Martinez did not want it there and has to put it out of play for a throw.
Yeah, it shows how quickly it can change. It's been all Villa since the goal, going close to that second goal. And then they just play the ball backwards, Aston Villa. Konsa maybe 19-20 yards away from his own goal, plays it blindly back to Emi Martinez, and Evan Nilsson reads it, nearly gets there, rushes Martinez into a clearance. But Villa will be happy with their start.
So will Newcastle United. They lead away at Brentford at the G-Tech Community Stadium. Sports Extra for that one. Get that via the BBC Sounds app. Brentford 0, Newcastle 1. Harvey Barnes has scored for Eddie Howe's side. Bournemouth free kicks, and Menyo fouled by Digne on that far side, the right, as Bournemouth kick from right to left. Rain has relented for now. There are a few brighter spots overhead. Still very overcast though. And Bournemouth have this free kick in the central third of the pitch, but a couple of yards in from the touchline on the far side, the right. So it's an opportunity for the likes of the towering Milosavljevic to come forward. Senesi's there as well. And it's all about the quality of the free kick from this sort of position.
Yeah, absolutely. High Villa line on the edge of the box, but plenty of height for Bournemouth to hit.
The recently called into the England squad, Alex Scott delivers. It's not a bad ball. Konsa lets it go. And Rodgers will clear on the right-hand side of the penalty area. Lifts it down the line cleverly. Cash has numbers forward and went for the first-time ball for Watkins. Bournemouth deal with that capably enough. And it's with Tyler Adams, who looks okay following that nasty clash of heads earlier on in which Adam Smith had to leave the field. Not so much for his head injury, but I think more the cut that had appeared that looked like just above his ear. He was replaced by Jimenez. Adams still on the field. Bournemouth with Scott, who's going backwards. He's dispossessed by Buendia. Tried the early ball to Watkins, who turns away in disappointment that Buendia was not able to find him. And had he done so, he may well have been through on goal. Alex Scott apologises to his teammates for that lapse of concentration, and Villa have a throw just outside the penalty area.
Yeah, Alex Scott was the man who nicked the ball off Onana early in the game, and it's Villa's turn now to take the ball off Alex Scott. Just takes a little bit too long on the ball, which is unlike him. Invites that Villa pressure, and they're in a good period of the pitch now.
Throw taken short. Buendia to Cash, who delivers to the back post. There are numbers there for Villa. Will this drop to a claret shirt? It's there for anyone. Konsa to Rodgers, still inside the box. So many bodies to get through, and Rodgers didn't manage it. Wins it back well though. McGinn to the back post. Watkins is there for the tap in via the header from Torres, who was very unselfish there. I think he may have been better off going for goal himself. Bournemouth somehow clear, but Watkins could not have been too far away from that.
Yeah, helped back into the box from John McGinn. And Pau Torres, he must only be 7 or 8 yards out, heads it back across the edge of the 6-yard box. Looks like he's got a tap in Ollie Watkins. Didn't see who the Bournemouth defender was, but it's an excellent clearance.
Lovely ball to Evan Nilsson, and he's away from Torres, but he cannot get his touch right. That is a chance for Bournemouth, who have not created many. And for a man of Evan Nilsson's quality, he's not had that much space to operate in. He was really well found, but his first touch lets him down.
Yeah, clever run into that left-hand channel. Delicious ball from Senesi. His first touch really let him down.
Now, what's Watkins' touch like? He's away from Milosavljevic. He's into the box. Watkins, is this his moment? No. Side netting. Via a deflection, so it is a Villa corner. Two very similar opportunities. One for Evan Nilsson. First touch not good enough. Watkins' touch was good enough, but the angle was always acute. Very difficult to score from there. And actually, that's good defending Milosavljevic. Corner Villa.
Yeah, brilliant defending from the young Serbian. He's 1v1, getting backed up into his own box from Ollie Watkins, who just does a little drop of his shoulder, shifts it onto his left foot. But Milosavljevic matches him for every single yard and gets an important touch on the shot to take it away for a corner.
It was Jimenez with the excellent piece of defending earlier to get the ball away from Watkins. And Jimenez not been there. Watkins was heading or tapping in for 2-0 Villa. Corner meanwhile in front of the Holt. Petrovic comes, doesn't get there, and then would have had the opportunity to pick up, but Adams not taking any chances and boots it downfield. Martinez been encouraged to go long, and that's what he does. Dinia's header forward. Torres is still causing problems on the edge of the Bournemouth penalty area. When Dia puts his body on the line, they're first to everything at the moment are Aston Villa. Ball into the box. Torres was waiting, headed away temporarily. Still there for Villa inside the box. Adams can clear, but not very successfully. McGinn wins it back. Momentum takes him out of play. Bournemouth have a throw in their left-back position. But Villa fans, and indeed the Villa manager Unai Emery, will be thrilled with what he is watching. And the only thing he'll want now, with 9 minutes to play until half-time, is that second goal.
Yeah, and at the moment in time, I think VAR are looking at a decision inside the Bournemouth box off the corner, which has just been Milosavljevic. Has arms all around Onana. The ball wasn't going to go to Onana, it was over his head, so I'm not sure if that affects Peter Banks' decision in that VAR situation. But this young Serbian just complimenting for his defending skills initially, but he has to be really clever when he defends, and he wasn't on that occasion as he wrapped his arms around Onana.
Gets away with it because the penalty decision was checked and cleared very quickly. Villa, though, not waiting around to discuss it. Onana's on the edge of the box, and had the opportunity to go forward there, and he went backwards instead. Villa, though, still have the ball with Konsa, who's just to the right of the centre circle. Smooth pass to McGinn, who rolls his man. Truefair has no chance, and he gets a yellow card for pulling down McGinn. And we know one of John McGinn's strengths is that little roll. He's so strong, McGinn. He gets his body in the way, rolls his man, clear free kick, clear yellow card. Well played, John McGinn. Yeah,
he's done it a few times. He just rolls on the inside, John McGinn, and looks for a pass into his feet. And on the previous occasions, he's got his backside and he's stuck it into Truefair and absorbed the pressure. But on this occasion, looks like he's going to do that. Truefair gets too close and he just rolls onto his left foot. Gets away and he has to get dragged down. Excellent play from the captain.
So what have Villa concocted here from this set piece? McGinn, Cash and Rodgers are over it. 6 yards or so in from the touchline and on the angle, so there's no real opportunity to shoot. You suspect Villa are best off putting it into that corridor of uncertainty. McGinn puts it exactly there. Headed away. Buendia arrives and turns in. No, off the line. Watkins again. He just cannot buy a goal. Any sort of contact, and that probably is 2-0 and a goal for Watkins. But he just couldn't get enough of it, and Bournemouth smuggle it away.
Was it a save? I think it was from Petrovic. Looked like a terrific save by the Bournemouth goalkeeper, clawing it away, because it looked like Ollie Watkins was going to end his goal drought. Delicious ball into the box and John McGinn in swinging. Bournemouth couldn't clear it, and then Ollie Watkins swings his right leg at it and somehow it didn't go in.
Konsa with some defending to do with several Bournemouth players around him. There are 4 pressing very high up the pitch. Villa are working it nicely at the moment. Camera with some good feet. I fancy it'll go long now from Konsa, and it does. In fact, it's a good looking ball to Buendia, but Semenyo stretches out his leg and goes all the way back to Petrovic, who's in a very garish green/yellow goalkeeping kit. And we can clearly see him glinting in the gloomy Villa Park light with fluorescent orange boots to match his fluorescent orange gloves. Bournemouth lose their way again, but Villa's pass forward in between both Rodgers and Watkins. Oh, Bournemouth are very haphazard with possession. They just cannot keep hold of it. And here's Rodgers on the left of the box. Another chance for Villa. Watkins the target, cleared by Senesi, who boots it downfield. It's just not sticking for Bournemouth, however. And with 6 minutes to go until half-time, they're holding on at the moment. Lovely skill, Rodgers into the box, left-hand side. Onana told to shoot, does shoot, scores! Amadou Onana hammers home Aston Villa's advantage, and it is an advantage they richly deserve. Onana took aim, buried into the bottom corner. Aston Villa 2, Bournemouth 0.
It's been coming, the Villa pressure has been sustained. Bournemouth can't keep hold of the ball in the middle of the pitch. It's Tyler Adams with a loose pass, and Villa are onto it so quickly. Finds its way to Morgan Rodgers on the left-hand side of the Bournemouth box. Clever little nutmeg, takes him inside the box, and then he sets it back to Onana, who only has one thing in his mind. Can he shift it out of his feet onto his right foot, which he does ever so well? And then he hits it back towards the near post, gets really good contact on it. He must be 23, 24 yards out. No backlift. Petrovic dives across the ground, can't get anywhere near it. It's a wonderful hit from Onana. And he's had a good game, the central midfield. He's been rewarded, and Villa fully deserve their 2-0 lead.
Rodgers found him with a little flick outside of his right boot. Onana, I think, used a couple of defenders as a screen, found the bottom corner. It's his first goal of the season and his 6th in an Aston Villa shirt. Amadou Onana, who is a very effective player in that Villa midfield. His defensive work, but he's very good going forward as well. The former Everton man, Belgian international. And you have to say, Dave, on the balance of play, 2-0 feels absolutely right, because Bournemouth have not been in this, and it has been wave after wave of Aston Villa attack. They look very much on it today.
Yeah, they're the team who's brought the real intensity to the game, which is a surprise, say, after Thursday night's efforts, although there's been quite a few changes. But even for the fan base to come out and give that noise again on a Sunday afternoon sometimes doesn't always happen, but the fans have performed and the players on the pitch have reacted to that. The intensity which they played at has been magnificent. They've won the battle in the middle of the pitch, and that's what's got them the lead.
Semenyo for Bournemouth is fouled by Onana, who did some good work a couple of moments ago by scoring. That wasn't one of his brighter moments, lunging in at Semenyo on the edge of the penalty area. He did get a bit of the ball, but he got an awful lot of Semenyo as well. And Bournemouth have this free kick that is almost on the angle of the penalty area. 2-0 Villa, and we have 2 and a bit minutes to play, but we will have, Dave, I reckon a good 6-7 maybe added on to deal with the clash of heads that we saw very early on.
Yeah, we definitely will. There's going to be time for either Villa to try and take this game away from Bournemouth, or Bournemouth to try and get back into it. As you said, Chris, 2-0 is pretty much the scoreline which the territory of the game deserves. But Bournemouth, so much attacking talent. They've had lots of set-piece opportunities which they haven't taken advantage of, and this one may just be a good chance to try and get some of their big defenders on the end of a cross.
Tavernier is over this, left foot low into the penalty area and turned over the top via a deflection. No, Evan Nilsson clean over the bar. Well, for all the talk of Villa's clever set pieces, that was clever from Bournemouth. Everyone waiting for the aerial ball, instead low from Tavernier, a pass into the front post. Evan Nilsson tried to turn it goalwards. He got too much on it.
Yeah, it was clever.
Probably was a corner.
Yeah, it looked like a corner. It looked like there's a block at the front post, but everyone was expecting Tavernier to swing it in with some height. Just rolls a ball across the floor into the path of Evan Nilsson. He hooks it towards goal, but it's blocked, I think, by Camera. Or was it maybe Ollie Watkins at that front post? Should have been a corner. Villa just take their time now for their goal kick.
There were several pink shirts waiting to spring the high press trap had Martinez gone short. He went long instead, which is a wise decision based on how well Aston Villa are winning the midfield battle at the minute. And Onana has been a big part of that, scoring Villa's second goal, adding to Buendia's opener. Lovely free kick from Buendia. Onana's shot from the edge of the penalty area. 2 goals from outside the box for Villa. Very little from Bournemouth in this first half. Evan Nilsson with half a squeak at his first touch, been a little bit better. That chance from the free kick. Konsa's being put under more pressure here, and he's just getting a bit frustrated, Konsa, because when it breaks down at the back, it tends to be Ezri Konsa who is responsible for it. Kluivert challenged by Cash. Bournemouth have a throw. You do wonder, I'm sure, in fact you probably don't need to wonder, that there'll be a player, won't there, that players like to target for the high press, and it looks like Konsa is that man.
Yeah, they're allowing the first pass to go to Konsa, and then they press him quickly. And that is backed up then by Bournemouth pressing other Villa players, which Konsa could potentially pass to, and he just runs out of ideas, and he's put the ball out of play on 4 occasions now. And as a player, you'll start to get a little bit nervous and a little bit angst as you get the ball.
Fourth official is ready. James Bell, it'll be a big number. 7 is that number. 7 minutes added on at the end of this first half, and we are into those 7 minutes now on 5 Sports Extra 2. True fair short, Kluivert space to shoot, does shoot! Side netting. And Bournemouth fans who are on the opposite side, that would have looked good from their angle. They would have seen the net ruffle, but it was the wrong side. Not too dissimilar from Onana's effort. Martinez, I think, saw it late. May not have got there, but just the wrong side of the post as far as Bournemouth are concerned.
Yeah, the ball got worked in from the left-hand side, found its way to Kluivert. And he's the man that, if you're a Bournemouth fan, you would want in this situation. Has a lovely technique when he hits the ball from distance. Gets the bounce on the ball, but just the wrong side of Emi Martinez's near post, who watches it around the corner.
He's been quiet in this first half. Justin Kluivert has not been able to operate. Another one who is gradually returning to full speed after injury. Cash is clipped by Tavernier. That'll be a free kick to Villa in their right back position. And Bournemouth, who have had one of the better Premier League attacks so far this season, 17 goals they've scored. Just 4 clubs have scored more this season, but at the moment they've not created as much as Andoni Iraola, who is all in black. His black coat, black trousers, black shoes, striding to the edge of his technical area, barks something at Tavernier, hands behind his back. At the moment, Unai Emery is once again getting the better of him. There is still a long time to play, a whole second half, and still a good 5 minutes of the first half, given 7 minutes added on to deal with that stoppage in play right at the start of the game when Adam Smith collided with Tyler Adams. Smith subsequently having to go off. Adams back on and hasn't shown any ill effects from that head injury, albeit Bournemouth have not really competed in this game so far as an attacking force. Foul by Camera on halfway, and Bournemouth have this free kick. Half-time at Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace 0, Brighton 0. Still no change in the other scorelines in the other games. Brentford 0, Newcastle 1, and Nottingham Forest 1, Leeds United 1. 2-0 Villa here. Tavernier away from Cash. Cash recovers, wins it back. True fair against Rodgers, and Bournemouth win a throw. They're scrapping well, Bournemouth. They're just, at the moment, Dave, they've lacked quality in that midfield area. Villa have been the better team in that middle third, and Evan Nilsson, bar that one effort that he couldn't quite gather, has been kept very, very quiet. We'll see how this attack develops, though. Tavernier slips as he plays it forward. Kluivert will get on the end of it before Konsa, just outside the penalty area, near side the left for Bournemouth as they go from right to left. So this attack developing right in front of us. Kluivert pointing the way. Adams in his pink base layer. Scott with the long hair flopping. He's got a white headband in. Works it nicely to True Fair. Space for the left back. In it goes behind Semenyo. In fact, it was behind everyone in a pink shirt. Senesi picks up the pieces just outside the box. Tavernier. Good little spell this for Bournemouth. Is there to be an end product at the end of it? Tavernier away from 2. He's into the box, onto his right foot. He needs to try and find space for the shot. Going backwards at the moment. Jimenez, he will shoot right-footed. Deflected into the hands of Martinez, who catches, and he had to catch, because Tavernier was waiting for any scraps.
Yeah, it's good defence from Aston Villa though, because Tavernier worked his way in from the left touchline, lovely feet, goes past 5-6 Aston Villa players, but they're still very much in their shape. Goes back to Jimenez and he shoots from 25-30 yards. I mean, Martinez very comfortable behind it. The defensive shape from Villa, very good.
They've been very impressive, have Villa, in these opening 49 minutes, so 3 minutes of added on time to play. Rodgers to Watkins, got a little shove there, but a legal shove from Marcos Senesi. One for Evan Ilson to scamper after in front of Konsa, who goes down. Free kick, says the referee. Well, it was a long way from that, John Brooks, because it was a very speedy ball played down the line. So whether he got a little word from an assistant or the fourth official, probably was the right decision. Just seeing a replay now, he has a little hand in the back, and I think as soon as Konsa felt that, down he went.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't enough for Konsa to go down, but as soon as you put your arm in the back, then that is enough for a foul. But that's been a good area for Bournemouth when they flip the ball down that left channel in behind Konsa. Evan Nielsen makes a clever run. He's done it on 5 or 6 occasions already. Runs off Pau Torres in behind Konsa, and he usually gets on the end of it. That's an area which Bournemouth will try to exploit as the game goes on.
Just one goal in his last 11 Premier League games. Evan Nielsen, that did come this season. A winner against Tottenham very early on, took that nicely little deflected shot at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So we are watching two strikers who are going on runs that they're not particularly used to. One goal in 11 Premier League appearances for Evan Nielsen and one in his last 17 for Ollie Watkins. So just 2 goals in the last 28 Premier League appearances combined for those two, which are statistics that we are not used to seeing from two strikers that have been very good in the Premier League in recent years. Tavernier's fouled by Cash, centre circle. 90 seconds of the first half to play. Bournemouth would love a way back into this game just before half-time, and it would just change the dynamic of both managers' team talk. Semenyo, right-hand side of the penalty area, dinked to the back post, but that's out of play. Very difficult to dig out a cross there, and he managed to evade the two that were close to him, but it drops out of play. And it remains Villa 2, Bournemouth 0.
Yeah, we haven't seen too much of Anton Semenyo in this game, and that'll be disappointing for Andoni Iraola. He's playing out on the right-hand side. So he usually likes to cut in on his right foot, but he's been forced down the outside on numerous occasions. On this time, he gets to the byline, but his crossing didn't match the run. But again, Bournemouth fans will want to see more from their talisman in the second half.
He certainly has been Bournemouth's talisman. 7 goals for the former Bristol City midfielder. He's had to watch a lot of the play being developed in front of him, or behind him if you like. It's not really been in his positions on the wide areas. Foul on Rodgers, who's lost a boot here, and it's being retrieved now. I think someone stood on it and he's putting it back on. Let's have a look at this. Senesi was the man, and just as he jumped, no problem with Senesi, I don't think. It was all very accidental, but Rodgers putting on his boot and using it as a prop to point to the referee to say, well, it was clearly a foul.
Yeah, he did just stamp on the back of his heel. Didn't know he was doing it, Senesi. Not sure if it was a foul. As we're closing in on this half-time whistle, one more opportunity for John McGinn to put in a delivery. It's caused problems. John McGinn's left foot already in this game.
It has. And this one floated into a dangerous area again. It got the little flick that very nearly took it beyond Petrovic. That will be the last action of the first half, and a very good half for the home side. They tend to enjoy their time at Villa Park. 1 defeat in their last 23 Premier League games here, and they are well on their way to another victory. They lead Bournemouth by 2-0. 2 excellent hits from long range. The first from Emi Buendia, a free kick on the edge of the penalty area, up and down and over the wall very quickly for 1-0. The second goal scored by Amadou Onana on the edge of the penalty area, well found by Rodgers. The right foot shot into the corner, and it's very much deserved for Villa against a toothless Bournemouth who have been struggling to get any kind of rhythm going. Evan Nielsen, at his first touch been better, may have had a chance clean through. He also had a shot over the bar from a cleverly worked free kick, but there's no doubt Dave Edwards at half-time. Villa leading 2-0, and they are good value for that lead.
Absolutely. And the way they started the game, the pressure they put on Bournemouth was very, very good. And they got their reward with the first goal, an excellent free kick from Emi Buendia. And whilst Bournemouth had moments on the counter-attack, Villa playing themselves into trouble was really their only issue. but away from that they started to sustain more pressure up in that Bournemouth half, kicking towards the Holt end, and so that pressure tolls, and they're well worthy of the 2-goal lead. So the midfield in particular, the physicality they've shown in there has been too much for Bournemouth. Nick the ball off them time and time again, and they go in worthy of that, say, 2-goal advantage. And Bournemouth got a lot of work to do in this second half.
Options on the bench for Bournemouth, certainly attacking options, the likes of David Brooks, the Welsh international, Ben Gannon-Doak as well, Krupi, who's scored plenty of goals recently. Do you anticipate changes for Bournemouth? Maybe not at half-time, but if it obviously continues this way, then you sense that Andoni Iraola will have to change something?
I think so. I think he'll give it 5-10 minutes into second half, see if the tactics he tries to give them at half-time to try and change the momentum of this game, see if that works, and if it doesn't, there's lots of attacking talent on the bench. Ryan Christie with his energy in midfield, I can see that being a big plus. David Brooks with his guile in the final third, as well as players like Krupi, goal-scoring form. Lots of attacking players he can bring on to change the game. But I'm sure he'll give that starting 11 an opportunity to... They haven't played badly in the first half, so it's not like he needs to really have a real go at them at half-time, but tactically they just haven't been as good as Aston Villa. So he'll try and give them the chance to rectify that first, but yeah, changes are there if they need to be.
Dave, for now, thank you very much indeed. Dave back with us for the second half here at Villa Park, which is around 10-15 minutes away. So do hope you can join us for the resumption of this Premier League game on 5 Sports Extra 2 with the half-time score at Villa Park: Aston Villa 2, Bournemouth 0.
Time to check on the latest scores in the Premier League. Crystal Palace, Brighton Hove Albion 0-0, Brentford 0, Newcastle United 1, Nottingham Forest 1, Leeds United 1, and the evening game tonight, Manchester City versus Liverpool. So half-time at Villa Park after an incredible first half. It's great to join some of the stars of our WSL team. We've got Maya Hitakata and Sabrina De Angelo with us at the moment. And Sabrina, great game yesterday. It's always nice to beat Manchester United, and that's what you did yesterday. How good was that?
Yeah, incredible to be away, get 3 points, a shutout, and the team played incredible. And yeah, we're happy to come back to Birmingham with the 3 points.
And what is really good at the moment, we're on an unbeaten run of 7 matches across all competitions. You're in goal, that must make you feel good, right?
Yeah, I can't complain when we're unbeaten 7 matches in a row, and we're hoping to keep that going against London City this weekend.
And you've got a home match coming up soon here at Villa Park following in the men's international break. So who are you playing at our next home game?
Yeah, we have London City coming up this weekend, and we're really excited for that game. It's a new team to the league, so it'll be an interesting one, but we know it'll be a tough one for sure.
And what's it like playing in Villa Park? Obviously, you get the fans down here. It must be amazing, right?
Yeah, it's incredible to play at Villa Park, and it's an honor to play on this field, and we love it, and we love the fan support.
And to get more fans down here, what message can you give our fans now to get down here to support you guys in the WSL?
Yeah, I think come out to a game because we're an exciting team, we're an energetic team. We're putting up good performances, and I think it's an exciting time for Villa Women's team.
It really is. So let's hope that unbeaten run continues. Great result yesterday. Good luck next week. You can find out more online, by the way, on how you can get your tickets. Tickets.abfc.co.uk. But get yourselves down here, B6 next week, to support our Villa women in the WSL. Thanks so much for being here today, guys. Enjoy the second half as well. Did you enjoy the first half, by the way? It was something, wasn't it?
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed the first half. I like some goals.
You couldn't have saved that free kick from every Grundy, though, could you?
No, I don't think so.
Amazing. Right, Maya, thanks so much for being here, and Sabrina De Angelo as well. Good luck next week. Up the Villa. Enjoy.
Thank you. Up the Villa.
So as you can see on the screens there, the Under-12 Boys Academy players have been taking part in the Premier League Truce project. As part of their project, they visited the National Arboretum and also delivered a veterans evening at Villa Park. This has been a great success for all, and the players have enjoyed learning all about World War I and the importance of the troops.
Try and get down as often as I can. My family are still like calming me. It has been great, like pretty much bankrupted myself following you guys in 2016. Just amazing. Oh, honestly. Being there was like incredible. I remember being in Bordeaux for the South African game. It was like never thought this would happen like that lifetime. And then to get as far was just it must have been like amazing to be part of. like, a lot of my mates growing up, like, friends from the age of the first time they were from London. So it was like back to the proper league. Then like, right, like, the previous time, having felt like, obviously there was a nonsense one in 2020 where we played twice with Baku, growing, obviously winning on the land and going to Amsterdam for the Netball game. And then the Qatar World Cup was a bit like, you know, just what we can do now. Yeah, we can get there, we got Turkey as well, so we're fine, but yeah.
It is time for the second half. Time to give you to make some noise. Please welcome Aston Villa.
Welcome back to Villa Park. You are with BBC Radio 5 Sports Extra 2 via the BBC Sounds app for Premier League commentary. Aston Villa 2, Bournemouth 0 after a very good first half for the home side in which they scored 2 good goals from range, Buendia and Onana. And there is work for Bournemouth to do if they are to get themselves back into this game. 2 sets of players are making their slow progress out of the tunnel in the corner here at Villa Park, where the Trinity Road stand that we are in would meet the North stand away to our left-hand side. A proper monument to football, Villa Park. It's been around for an awfully long time, right in the heart of Aston and Witton. It's seen some big games down the years, always generates a fine atmosphere, and the Villa fans have enjoyed what they've seen so far. So the onus very much on Bournemouth to get themselves back into this game, and they are making a half-time change because Lewis Cook, who has not played much at all this season for Bournemouth, Lewis Cook, he's only played 34 minutes of Premier League football, and it's Alejandro Jimenez who came on as a first half change in the opening 10 minutes to replace the stricken Adam Smith. Comes off at half time, which has to be almost some form of record for earliest a sub has been subbed. Anyway, we're back underway in this second half. Scott goes down under a challenge inside the Villa penalty area, but no real appeals for a penalty. I'll run you through the 2 11s, the revised 11 for Bournemouth and the as you were 11 for Villa. No changes for them when there is the first chance to do so. Scott puts in a crunching challenge on Digne. I think it's a throw rather than a free kick, but that was it was a fair challenge. It was a good one, but Digne certainly felt that. So Villa claret and blue going from right to left. That's away from the Holt end. Bournemouth swapped the teams around, having won the toss, and Bournemouth all in pink with pockets of blue sky above now. The overcast grey clouds are scudding away, and there's a little bit of blue overhead. Former Wales international Dave Edwards alongside, and a change at half time then. Lewis Cook on for Alejandro Jimenez, which presumably maybe means a slight tweak in the way Bournemouth are playing.
Yeah, I think Lewis Cook, he'll come and play right back. It'll be a straight swap in that sense, but maybe a lot more secure in that position. Won't venture forward as much as what Jimenez was doing, but I think defensively, even though he's a midfielder, I think it's a bit more stability for Bournemouth.
Tavernier's left foot shot takes a deflection on its way through, so Bournemouth force a very early corner with 1 minute 20 seconds played of this second half.
Yeah, Bournemouth looking for a reaction after that first half, and they've certainly done that so far. Alex Scott latched onto a ball early on, nearly got himself a free kick, then he smashed into Luca Dean in a tackle. Now they've got a corner, so this is better from Bournemouth, a better intensity.
They'd love nothing more to get an early second half goal. Scott delivers, Camera rises at the front post to head away. Scott has a second chance to reload on that far side, the left, as Bournemouth now kick from left to right towards the Holt end. That delivery is dealt with via a combination of headers. Second one was from Buendia. Still, though, Bournemouth are moving forward. Kluivert's touching field, Semenyo nearly taking over well inside the penalty area, but Villa clear, and that's a clear foul. Adams on McGinn, and Villa have this free kick right in the centre of their own half. They lead 2-0. They have Martinez in goal. Cash, Konsa, Torres and Digne make up the back four. Camara and Onana, who scored the second goal. McGinn, Rogers and Buendia, who scored the first. Watkins, who is still without a goal. He had a couple of chances in that first half as well. For Bournemouth now with Petrovic in goal, Smith, Milosavljevic, Senesi and Truffert. Smith was on the field, he was then replaced by Jimenez, and then he was replaced at half-time by Cook. So it's Cook now at right back, Adams and Scott in the midfield, Tavernier, Kluivert, Semenyo and Evanilson. Bournemouth have a throw near side the right, this in their right back position. Villa 2, Bournemouth 0, 5 Sports Extra 2. We'll keep you across the other Premier League games as well that kicked off at 2, that have just got underway in the second half. They probably have been underway for a bit actually, because we finished the first half late with 7 minutes of stoppage time. We'll keep you across the smattering of WSL games there are as well, and the Scottish Premiership games too, with Celtic and Rangers both in action. But our main focus will be full live commentary here from Villa Park of Villa 2, Bournemouth 0. Martinez downfield, Rodgers will rise with Scott. Those two will be linking up at St George's Park, having both been named in the latest Thomas Tuchel England squad. That's a foul by Tyler Adams on Boubacar Kamara. Fans want a yellow card. Referee John Brooks will have a word with Tyler Adams, and it'll be a word saying that's a couple of times you've left your foot in, one more and you're in the book.
Yeah, both Alice Scott and Tyler Adams have made tackles at the start of this second half, which shows the way they're going to approach this second half. There's a lovely turn from Kamara, just lets the ball roll across his body, drops his shoulder, sucks in Tyler Adams. And there's a rash tackle from the central midfielder.
It is now noticeably brighter at Villa Park. Now that there's blue sky above, it's like someone's turned the lights on. We do have the floodlights still shining down, but I'd still say the natural light is just about the dominant force. Martinez has the ball just outside the 6-yard box, back to the Holt end. So the Holt enders there will be watching their side run away from them in this second half. McGinn battling in midfield, he turns away from 2 and 3, and then Truffert fouls him. Now he's already been booked. That's a very risky challenge on John McGinn, and John Brooks has a decision to make here. You can hear what the fans think. He's calling Truffert to him, but I fancy this will be, you are on your very, very last warning. That was risky on a yellow card.
Yeah, it was risky. John McGinn, brilliant in the middle of the pitch. Once again, under a lot of pressure. Throws a lovely Cruyff turn in, which takes him away from Truffert. And then that just almost causes Truffert to lose his head a little bit. Reacts, tries to dive in.
He's a lucky boy, isn't he?
He's lucky. I don't think it's nasty or there's any malice in the tackle. He slides in, and as John McGinn always does, he leans in and pushes his body into him, so the contact comes quicker than what was expected. But yeah, I think if he hadn't been booked already, that is a yellow card.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're right. But it feels like the Andoni Iraola message amongst probably a few, one of them would have been, just get into him a little bit, make yourselves known in that midfield, because you've allowed Villa to play too much. But there are a couple of players out there that have to do that with responsibility, and Adrien Truffert is certainly one of those. The Frenchman on a yellow card. Semenyo wins the ball well from Digne. He was stronger than the Villa left back. Scott back into his own half, and now Milosavljevic into the feet of Adams, right hand side of the centre circle. Rangers lead away at Dundee. Dundee 0, Rangers 1 in the Scottish Premiership. Good ball over the top, Kluivert, low ball in, easy for Martinez. Iraola's body language down below us, with a quick movement of his right arm, suggested he wanted Kluivert to fizz that in with a little bit more pace.
Yeah, it's that left channel again though for Bournemouth, which is causing the problems. Flipping it over the top of Ezri Konza. Evanilson makes the run off. Pau Torres in behind Konza, gets himself in, but a poor cross into the box. But that is an area where Bournemouth need to try and take advantage of, and once Evanilson does get into that left hand channel, they need to flood the box with bodies. That's one thing they're not managing to do.
But they've started this second half well, Bournemouth. They've noticeably built some nice attacks, more so than in the first half, and the latest one has Kluivert on the edge of the box. Left-footed ball that is blocked pretty much at source, but Cash gives it away, and here's the right foot shot from Tavernier. That's another one well blocked by Kamara on the edge of the penalty area. Bournemouth though will reload via Milosavljevic, who plays it backwards of square for Senesi on the halfway line. Senesi's left-footed ball, Tavernier infield to Kluivert, and now Adams. They did end the first half well, did Bournemouth, and they've started this second half on the front foot as well, trailing 2-0. And you feel the way they've been this season, Bournemouth, that they will have a spell in this second half and they will get their chances. They've played too well this season not to think they will have their moments in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're already playing a lot more in Aston Villa's half, and we didn't see that in the first half at all.
Clive looking to shoot, instead drops the shoulder and plays it in field. Villa at the moment are camped inside their own half. Milosavljevic calmly and smoothly to Cook on this near side, the right. His low ball into the box. Semenyo has space onto his right foot. Semenyo drives it across goal. Well defended by Konsa, and in fact the flag up anyway on probably Semenyo when he was played through, but much brighter and much better from Bournemouth.
Yeah, absolutely. It is roles reversed really to the first half. Aston Villa can't get themselves out. Every time they do win the ball, Bournemouth are straight back on top of them. And you can just hear now a little bit of frustration inside Villa Park with the home fans just wanting their side to have a spell of possession, which they're unable to do. But yeah, very much Bournemouth the better team so far.
Buendia looks long and early for Rodgers. First touch not as good as it normally is, so he's forced a little bit wide, but he's on it now on the right hand side of the box. He bundles through Truffert. Well, he might have got a free kick there, Truffert, but he's done well, Rodgers. Cash drives it across and deflected off Adams for an Aston Villa corner, leading 2-0, and they have their first corner of the second half.
That's where we saw the first bit of indecision really from Truffert. He's on the book and he nearly got booked again, and Morgan Rodgers has him faced up. He never really committed to the tackle. He actually won the ball at one point, but you can see he wasn't at it 100%. Morgan Rodgers manages to win the ball back and get himself a corner off the back of it, but Truffert, that's an area where I think Iriola may have to look towards his substitutes bench to see if there's something on there he can do.
Everton have equalised in the WSL at home to Manchester City. Everton 1, Manchester City 0. Corner for Villa, far side their right as they kick towards the north stand. They're all mostly on their feet. In comes the delivery. Evan Ilson rises and heads away. Tavernier to Kluivert, who at the moment is the furthest Bournemouth player forward, and he's still deep inside his own half. Now accelerating into Villa territory. Desperately needs support from those in pick. Semenyo surges through the centre. Semenyo goes on, foul tackled by McGinn. The shot comes in. Martinez makes a brilliant save. Wonderful Martinez save to backpedal ferociously, tip over the crossbar. I think everyone was waiting for the referee's whistle to blow for a foul on John McGinn that wasn't given. The shot took a wicked deflection and Martinez had to make a really good save.
Yeah, excellent counter-attack from Bournemouth. Break up the pitch with Kluivert, then Semenyo, and the ball just ricochets back to Alex Scott. He takes a bit of an opportunist hit, ricochets high up of an Aston Villa defender, and Emi Martinez backpedaling towards his own goal gets there just in time. This is a world-class save from the Argentinian. It was going right underneath the bar, and the dynamism he shows to get back towards his own goal and flick over was incredible.
It's just been replayed on the two big screens here at Villa Park, and you could hear the oohs and the ahs from the fans. They appreciated that. Was an excellent piece of goalkeeping. Corner delivered in with pace towards the back post, headed away. The strike is there for Cook. He hit it well enough. Took a nick on its way through and then cleared out to comparative safety. It will be a Bournemouth throw, but just as you sense Villa were on the ascendancy in the first half, Bournemouth in the ascendancy here. Their fans are responding. Truffaut's cross deflected by Cash, corner to Bournemouth. And for the sake of their game, Dave, you feel they have to take advantage here and now.
Yeah, whilst they're on top, whilst they've got the pressure, because you know Aston Villa will get chances on the counter-attack. They have too much quality at the top end of the pitch not to do that. But there is a moment here, you feel, for Bournemouth just to make this pressure tell.
Brentford have equalised against Newcastle. Kevin Schade has scored at the G-Tech. 1-1, Brentford and Newcastle, and Rangers now 2-0 up away at Dundee. Bournemouth corner, Scott delivers right underneath the crossbar. Martinez with a routine catch. Nothing routine about his previous save, but that was comfortable for the goalkeeper.
Yeah, good goalkeeping. Commands his box really well, safe hands.
Buendia needed to come onto that ball rather than wait for it, and Tavernier was in quickly, and Bournemouth are in to this game now. Those little 50-50s that were going Villa's way are now going Bournemouth's way, and the pink shirt's looking good again with Tavernier right hand side of the box. Kluivert's low ball in, arriving at pace was Scott, put behind for a corner. This is good Bournemouth pressure, but they need to take one of these little opportunities.
Yeah, all Bournemouth win the ball back with a crunching tackle in midfield, find their way down the right-hand side. Evan Nielsen flashes a ball across the box. A late run from Alex Scott into the 6-yard box, so close to getting on the end of it before Konza with an excellent sliding tackle.
Corner near side the right for Bournemouth, which will be delivered by Kluivert towards the back post and headed down, not in, it's still there. Truffert shoots, that's saved by Martinez, and out for another corner. It looked a little bit too tight for a clean shot on goal, but Truffert managed it and Martinez had the save. He's on the floor now, needing some form of treatment. Evan Nielsen hits the post from the corner, as we've just seen the replay, and then Truffert's shot was actually blocked, I think, before Martinez had to make the save.
Yeah, maybe should score in swinging corner from the right-hand side. Martinez gets caught underneath the ball, and Evan Nielsen on his own at the back post. It is a tight angle, but crashes it against the post. That was a big chance for Bournemouth to get a goal back.
Another Bournemouth corner, far side the left. Scott delivers an in-swinger towards the back post. It's another one very easy for Martinez. And if you play the ball in with that sort of trajectory, you need a little bit more going forward. And Martinez with another comfortable catch, and he lets Rodgers take over with a very early throw out. Now McGinn with options not quick in getting forward for him. Cash is offering on that right hand side. Semenyo puts him out of play. Villa have a throw, and Bournemouth are readying 3 changes. Eli Krupa is one of them, Ryan Christie is another, and is that Amin Adli there as well, I can see. So triple change coming for Bournemouth, and we've only played, well, we're just hitting the hour mark.
Yeah, Stenson there on top and bringing on some attacking players, maybe just to try and get that goal to get them back into the game. Whilst this pressure is there for them, the fresh legs might just add a little bit of sharpness at the top end of the pitch.
I'm sure Bournemouth fans listening and watching as well inside the Doug Ellis stand opposite us will be wondering where this was in the first half, because they rather let Villa play in front of them. Now they are taking the game to Villa and looking a lot more threatening. Ball out of play meanwhile for a Bournemouth throw in their right back position that Tavernier will leave for Lewis Cook, who is predominantly a centre midfielder, but certainly can operate at right back. Onana to a vacant gap inside right channel, and now Tavernier is bundled to the floor by Digne. Referee didn't see it, and Martinez has it safely back inside his own penalty area. So Eli Krupa, Ryan Christie and Amin Adli are all ready to come on for Bournemouth, who trail 2-0 at Villa Park, 5 Sports Extra 2. We've got half an hour to play as Martinez clears downfield. Skies continue to brighten as late afternoon turns to early evening in the West Midlands. Still very mild temperatures. The flags above the Doug Ellis stand very limp now, barely a breeze to talk about. It's very pleasant conditions to be playing football, and not too unpleasant to be watching either, considering normally at this time of year the thermals are out in force. The 3 Bournemouth changes are being made to wait because Bournemouth are keeping very controlled and tidy possession inside their back line. Scott on the edge of the centre circle, square to Milosavljevic. No Under Armour or thermals for him, they make them tough in Serbia. Buendia and Digne win the ball back for Villa. Back to goal, Buendia sensibly to Martinez, and Dave Edwards Villa have done a pretty good job here of just regaining control of this game. Rodgers over halfway, 3-on-3 momentarily. That's not a great ball from Morgan Rodgers, and Bournemouth win it back.
Yeah, just started to take control of the ball a little bit better, Aston Villa. Get past that initial Bournemouth press, keeping it for 1, 2, 3 passes, and then it starts to open up a little bit.
Long ball for Semenyo to chase. Evan Nielsen not too far away. Martinez well aware of the edges of his penalty area and collects before he trotted over the line, and will just maybe slow things down for Villa. It decides to go long, which is not a bad idea in the circumstances. Lovely touch, Watkins, to kill it stone dead. And Milosavljevic in quickly to prevent his progress forward. Out of play it goes. Villa throw left wing position. Here come those changes. So Truffert is being replaced. Maybe not a bad idea, Dave, because he was walking that proverbial tightrope.
Absolutely, he's been a real battle with John McGinn. I think the experience of John McGinn has just got him riled up, and the way John McGinn uses his body means that Truffert wanted to be aggressive with him, and too often than not he was giving away fouls, so sensible from the Bournemouth manager.
Ryan Christie is coming on, and so too is Eli Krupi, who had been Bournemouth's main striker in the absence of Evan Nilsson, and he did that job very well indeed. 6 goals in his last 6 appearances for Bournemouth and the French under-21 side, 4 in 4 in his last Premier League appearances. Amina Adley on as well, the 25-year-old midfielder. He's only started 1 Premier League game, and that against Leeds in September. And the dependable Ryan Christie coming on for his 160th Bournemouth appearance, but only 1 Premier League start for him this season, on as a sub in his last 7 Premier League games. How do you expect Bournemouth to go about it now with those changes?
It's an attacking change because Adley's come on. He'll go on the left-hand side or left wing, and Tavernier will just drop back into the left-back area. Very good all-round player, Marcus Tavernier, so he can do that job, and he'll look to bomb forward as well. Adley, I haven't really seen too much from him in a Bournemouth shirt, but then Krupi to go and join Evan Nilsson up top. Attacking changes and the legs of Christie in midfield. I'm surprised he didn't start, but an opportunity for him to really try and influence this game.
Cash, corner for Villa, left-hand side, delivered into the box, drops to McGinn, who rather scuffs the shot forward. No, it was McGinn, right first time, and he is normally very proficient from that sort of angle and range. Didn't quite get hold of it, and now he's doing some good defending to halt a Bournemouth counter-attack, but get on with it quickly, do Bournemouth as they have to do, trailing 2-0. First involvement for Eli Krupi. His ball in is a good one, just over Evan Nilsson's head. Got a flick off, I think, Onana. He takes some beating, does Onana, but that's a very useful flick in the end because Krupi would not have been too far away from it.
Yeah, a lot of ambition from Bournemouth, just getting on with things quickly. Quick throwing down the left-hand side, releasing Krupi. He beats Camera to the ball. He's only got one thing in his mind, that's to drive inside on his right foot and try and get a delivery in the box, and it's a good header away from Aston Villa.
Tavernier, corner for Bournemouth in front of the Holt end. This near side, the right, delivers deep to the back post, headed back across goal, handball claim. The Bournemouth players, and it's been given. Bournemouth have been given a penalty for handball, and they have a route back into this game. Villa protest, they feel it's a push. It will of course be checked, but for now, John Brooks points to the spot. Evan Nilsson's header off the trailing arm of Morgan Rogers. That's why it's been given, and you'd be surprised if this is overturned.
Yeah, there is a nudge. There's 2 hands in the back from Evan Nilsson, but it's not a lot of force at all. Not enough for Morgan Rogers to really affect his decision making. And it's as he turns, it's gone over his head, and he turns around towards Evan Nilsson, and his arms naturally go up in the air, and it's headed back across goal, and it's his left arm high above his head, strikes it. It is a handball. I think it should be a penalty. I don't think there's enough contact there to really warrant a foul the other way, but VAR will look at it. Peter Banks at Stockley Park will be looking at that push in the back, but is it enough? I don't think it is.
Yeah, it will be being checked by VAR, but I think the message that John Brooks has got is that it's okay. And it's an opportunity for Antoine Semenyo to continue his fine goal-scoring form this season. He scored the only penalty that Bournemouth got in early September in a 2-1 win over Brighton. Martinez, very good at penalties. This in front of the Holt end. The fans doing their best to put Semenyo off. This is a huge moment in this game with 66 minutes played. Villa 2, Bournemouth 0. This to give Bournemouth a route back in. Semenyo stutters, saved! Martinez low to his left. And listen to the eruption of noise at Villa Park. Almost as loud as the goals. Semenyo stuttered, waited for Martinez to move. He guessed right, makes the save, and it remains Villa 2, Bournemouth 0.
World class, Emi Martinez. This is a proper save. Low down to his right hand side. It's not right in the corner, but it's along the ground and it's well hit. It's a terrific save by the Argentinian, and the Holt end erupted. It was loud before the penalty, and it's just like they've scored the winner of an FA Cup final.
Bournemouth squander the opportunity to get themselves back in. It is an excellent save. Sometimes you look at the penalty taker and think, should he have done a little bit better? But it was right in the corner. Yes, the stuttering run up, but it was right in the corner, and Martinez with an excellent save.
and it was on the ground as well. He didn't lift it as well, so not only did Martinez need to get across his goal, but he needed to get across low, which is a lot harder to do, and he just moved so quick, and his wingspan is huge. Emi Martinez, intimidating for a penalty taker, but what a good save, and that's really lifted the atmosphere.
A couple of yellow cards were issued there for members of Bournemouth's coaching staff. Unhappy at something. Here comes the corner, the resulting corner from the Martinez saved. That's headed away at the front post, and then the block from Buendia to divert the Lewis Cook cross. So Villa 2, Bournemouth 0. And Bournemouth, who had played well in the second half, they've been the better side as we reach the halfway point of the second half. Villa still with that 2-goal advantage, but listen to what this has done to the crowd. They were a little bit nervous. There was trepidation around because Bournemouth had been building, and that would have given Bournemouth a huge lift back into this game. But not only is the score still 2-0, Dave, but just the emphasis and the impetus that now gives Villa to go on and win this game, all because of that penalty save.
Yeah, Bournemouth definitely deserve to be back into the game the way they've played in this second half, but you just sensed that penalty was going to be saved. Emi Martinez, before it was taken, he was rallying up the whole tent. You can see him, his arms motioning and said, "Come on, I need you." And they reacted. The noise before the penalty, trying to put off Semenyo, was very, very loud, and it was rewarded with a terrific save.
Watkins, lovely football to get away from Milosavljevic, who wins the ball well, plays it against Watkins, and that's out of play for a goal kick, as Villa are preparing certainly 2 changes, maybe even 3, with Ross Barkley close to coming on. Jadon Sancho and Yuri Tillemans are the other 2. Beg your pardon, it's not Jadon Sancho, it is Jadon Sancho, sorry, coming on, and Yuri Tillemans, Barkley there as well, as Forest lead against Leeds by 2-1. Morgan Gibbs-White has scored at the City ground. Nottingham Forest 2, Leeds United 1. Semenyo, how will he be feeling after that penalty miss? Onana wins it on halfway. Now Watkins with his back to goal, holds it up well, uses Onana, who, lovely feet, Onana, away from 2. He's got such effortless grace, Onana, when he's in possession. Here's Rodgers on the left-hand side of the box, forced out of it now. Good strength from Rodgers, goes for goal, only just wide. It's an excellent effort from Rodgers. Odds very much against him from such a difficult angle, falling backwards, just trying to wrap his foot around into the far corner. Oh, it wasn't far away, you know, but wide it goes, and it remains Villa 2, Bournemouth 0.
Yeah, good effort from Morgan Rodgers, heading back towards his own goal on the corner of the box on the left-hand side. He just turns quickly, wraps it towards the far post, only a foot or so wide.
Here come those changes, and it is the goal scorer of Villa's first, Emi Buendia. His free kick delightfully hit over the wall. John McGinn coming off as well, so too Amadou Onana, so it's all change in the midfield. Ross Barkley, Yuri Tillemans, who is making his gradual return from injury, and Jadon Sancho are the 3 to be coming on, and they are 3 not bad players to be bringing on in this circumstance. Yuri Tillemans, who tends to be and has been for large parts of Unai Emery's tenure the starter, but he is returning from injury. Played the last few moments against Maccabi Tel Aviv in the Europa League on Thursday, and he's on to play the final 20 minutes here.
Yeah, Morgan Rodgers will just go over to the right hand side where John McGinn was playing. Jadon Sancho straight swap on this left hand side for Emi Buendia, and then Ross Barkley looks like he's going to be the one in midfield to play a little bit higher, get close to Watkins, with Tillemans behind him in midfield. 19
minutes to play. Villa 2, Bournemouth 0. Villa, who have a good record over Bournemouth, Unai Emery in particular, and beaten in his 6 managerial meetings with Andoni Iraola. And that excellent home record that Villa are protecting, just 1 defeat in their last 23 Premier League home games. That this season here against Crystal Palace, when Villa were going through their sticky patch very early on in the season. And if they were to win, it would be a 6th home win in a row in all competitions, having won their last 3 Premier League home games. They've won a couple of games here in the Europa League as well, against Bologna and Maccabi Tel Aviv. But there is still the best part of 20 minutes to play. And Bournemouth have shown enough intuition in this second half to suggest that they will create more chances. They did create a couple of chances. They did win that penalty that Semenyo has consequently missed. or rather Martinez has brilliantly saved. Bournemouth in possession, far side the left, building slowly at the moment, and they're back inside their own half. Newcastle still 1-1 at Brentford, but Dan Burn has been sent off for 2 yellow cards in West London. So Brentford 1, Newcastle 1, but Dan Burn sent off for Newcastle. Cook on this near side the right for the pink shirts of Bournemouth. Semenyo offers down the line. It's a difficult one to control. In fact, he won't get there. Always looked like Semenyo would struggle to keep that in play. Struggle he did. Out of play it goes. Villa have a goal kick, and Bournemouth, for much as we eulogise about Villa and their play and their penalty save and what that does for them, talk to us about what a penalty miss at 0-2 does for you when you're trying to get back into the game.
Yeah, momentum's definitely shifted, hasn't it? It was all Bournemouth at the start of that second half. They've worked, they've got a couple of opportunities, and then they get the big moment, they get the penalty, and you just feel like not scoring that has almost made them succumb to the idea that this game is over. They're not playing at the same rhythm, intensity, not effort levels, but at the same passion they were before, and that's mainly because of the atmosphere in the stadium has just changed completely. They almost need to regroup now, give themselves a couple minutes, and then really try and finish this half strongly and get themselves back into the game. The second half so far, they deserve something.
Villa, though, have their controllers on the field at the moment, although that's not very controlled. Tielemans was a little loose. In fairness to him, the pass he received in the centre of midfield wasn't the most pleasant, and Tavernier can come forward for the pink shirts of Bournemouth, trailing 2-0. 5 Sports Extra 2 from the BBC. Tavernier, left-hand side of the penalty area, needs support as he's running down a little bit of a blind alley, and he does have support in the form of Marcos Senesi. Every single Villa player behind the ball. Ollie Watkins is the furthest player forward for Villa. Still on the field, he does tend to be replaced by Donyell Marlin in these circumstances, but Marlin waits on the bench for now. Bournemouth are going backwards 4 now, and it's Ryan Christie who's almost playing as an auxiliary centre-half at the moment. Here is Krupi, very deep to pick up the ball on that far side, the left for Bournemouth. Now Amina Adley, not seen too many of the Bournemouth changes involved. Christie, Adley and Krupi, but they're building fluently enough through midfield until Camara gets in the way of that particular attack. Barkley, Watkins inside the centre circle, and the ball with the outside of his right foot for Sancho, who has 2 arms outstretched to suggest we just need to calm it down. And this really, Dave, is what Villa need to do, and all they do need to do, and if they do this successfully enough, then they win this game.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, they've got a lot of controllers on the pitch now in Tielemans, Camara, Ross Barkley offers that as well. Guile on the ball and technicians to keep hold of it, and they need to lean on that now.
Watkins collects nicely on the edge of the box onto his right foot, crowd urging him to shoot. They'd love for him to get a goal to break that duck, and that's a good challenge on him on that far side, and it's out of play for a Villa corner. He's put the work in, Ollie Watkins, and you feel a player of his quality, he will eventually get back to that scoring rhythm that we know so well that he possesses.
Yeah, he does offer a lot more than just goals. His tireless running, especially in behind it, making those channel runs, stretching the defences, that helps the whole team. But you can't help but think he just cuts as a frustrated figure at the moment. Even then, he does so well to win inside a corner, but he just looks a little bit disappointed and dejected. A goal would do him the world of good.
Villa corner, far side the left. Digne in, Barkley's header! That will be the game for Villa. Ross Barkley off the bench to head into the far corner. Villa will be winning this game. It'll be 3 points for Unai Emery's side. Aston Villa 3, Bournemouth 0.
Yeah, they've had no chances in this second half at all, Aston Villa. And it's just a simple set-piece routine. In-swinging corner from Digne from the right-hand side. 3 Aston Villa players go towards the ball, then they look like they're retreating back into the box. Digne delivers, then Barkley just checks again. Gets across Evan Nielsen at the front post. Doesn't need a lot of movement, to be honest. Evan Nielsen's just standing still, and he just flicks it straight behind himself into the far corner. Lovely guided header from Barkley. The substitute gets his goal quite quickly, but Villa didn't have to work too hard for that.
His first of the season, Ross Barkley, his 8th in a Villa shirt. He is one of those players very much trusted by Unai Emery when the game is in its latter stages to come on and just control things, as we've mentioned, the 31-year-old, but he does chip in with the odd goal, and that was a very good header. Dinia's corner, Barkley at the front post, nestled nicely at the far stick, and that is unquestionably now, you'd think, the game for Aston Villa, who have had to absorb plenty of Bournemouth pressure in this second half, and had Semenyo scored that penalty for 2-1, and it may well have been a different feel around Villa Park, but that penalty save from Martinez energising the crowd, and they've since gone on to, it looks like, completely quell the Bournemouth attack, and Barkley's header, barring a miracle, has surely won this game now.
Yeah, absolutely. The penalty save was a real decisive moment in this match. Bournemouth had up their head of steam. They say it just took it all away, and from that moment there, they just looked like the confidence had left what they had built up in that start of the second half. As I said, Villa haven't had to work hard for that goal. That'll be the disappointing thing for Iriola, that they were very much still in the game with 15 minutes left or so. But that third goal really should be game, set and match for Aston Villa.
Brentford now lead at home to Newcastle. Brentford 2, Newcastle 1. Thiago has scored a penalty there with 12 minutes to play, and Rangers now 3 up away at Dundee in the Scottish Premiership. That the scoreline here, but in favour of the home side at Villa Park. 12 minutes to play, Villa 3, Bournemouth 0. 5 Sports Extra 2. Brooks' first contribution is not one he'll be particularly pleased with. He's given it away, and now Barkley striding over halfway into Bournemouth territory. Villa fancy more goals here. It's an opportunity for Rodgers to tiptoe his way through the Bournemouth back line. I think he was rather put off by the movement of Watkins in front of him, or maybe wanted a bit more movement from Watkins in front of him. Either way, didn't get it, and Bournemouth have it back.
Yeah, Watkins just made a little diagonal darting run into the right-hand channel, and I think he wanted the ball. I think that was the right pass. Morgan Rodgers just took a little bit too much time. That meant Watkins was offside, and then he just ran into Bournemouth bodies.
Lamine Bogart and Donyell Marlon are coming on, so you fancy that Ollie Watkins' game is over, and it will be another one without a goal. But he is very much a team player, Watkins. He will be disappointed not to have scored, but he'll be thrilled to be part of what has been a very convincing Aston Villa performance. And here come those changes, and Watkins is striding across to this near side. His number actually isn't raised yet, because Boubacar Kamara's number is up first. And that's the reception from the Villa Park faithful. Another good game for him in the centre of the Villa midfield. And Lamine Bogart is coming on. And Ollie Watkins also off, gets a high five from his manager. Pat on the shoulder as well, and a slap on the stomach. Unai Emery knows that his striker is giving him absolutely everything. There's no danger there. And also coming on is Lamar Bogard. Bournemouth forward into the penalty area. Semenyo couldn't quite get his first touch right. Edge of the box. Digne was close to him. And the French left-back wins the ball. Feeds it down the inside. Left channel for Villa. Sancho in front of Cook on the halfway line. The green-booted Barkley. Tielemans lifts it to Digne. That was easily seen by Milosavljevic, who is desperate to try and get the ball forward now. And there's no real focal point up front for Bournemouth anymore. Evan Nilsson's been replaced by Brooks. Krupi's up there on his own. And the changes haven't really had the desired effect for Bournemouth, and they're being cut apart again in midfield. It's the new man Bogard to Rodgers on the edge of the penalty area, the former Bournemouth player. Low ball across, Marlon nearly steered it in. Well, if Ollie Watkins sitting on the bench and Marlon had tapped that in, you'd be thinking, well, come on now, where's my luck? As it was steered behind for a corner. Yeah,
substitutes heavily involved in that move. First Bogard in midfield. Very impressive for such a young age how confident he is on the ball. Little 1-2 with Tielemans. Then they release Morgan Rodgers down the right-hand side. He flashes across the face of the 6-yard box, and Marlon was just waiting for a tap-in, but is well defended from Senesi.
Villa have this corner, which Digne is over. The last one led to the third Villa goal. This one goes short, and Tielemans takes aim on the edge, deflected in. Oh, it's Marlon who's got the touch as well. He's only been on the field for a matter of seconds, replacing Ollie Watkins, and it's Marlon's touch that sends it beyond Petrovic. It's turning into a wonderful afternoon for Aston Villa, who will be extending this winning run at Villa Park. Tielemans shot, Marlon steers it in. Aston Villa 4, Bournemouth 0.
Another set-piece goal for Villa. Corner from the right-hand side, cleverly worked. Gets cut back towards Tielemans on the edge of the box centrally. He swings it towards goal. Looks like it's going straight towards Petrovic in the Bournemouth goal, but just clips off the heels of Marlon. Don't know how much he knows about it. He celebrates like he knew everything about it. Runs off his first touch, he gets a goal. A penny for the thoughts of Ollie Watkins on that Aston Villa bench. Worked his socks off, he's had no joy in front of goal. And his substitute Marlon comes on and gets it straight away.
His third goal of the season, the Dutch international. And yeah, you just cannot help but feel for Ollie Watkins. For all the reasons you state, and you come off the field and you watch your teammate and your colleague, and you'll be thrilled for him, but you'll be thinking, you just turn your back, it clips your heels, I'm not sure he knew anything about it, and you get a goal when you've been on the field for less than 2 minutes. That's sometimes the way it goes. But Ollie Watkins will be feeling that the world is against him in front of goal at the moment.
Yeah, you say he'll be happy for his teammate. I'm not 100% sure he will be. I know what footballers are like, and even though they are your teammates, if they're up in your position, it's a competitor that you want to start every week. You want to be, as a striker, the one scoring goals. And if someone else is doing it more than you, there's more chance they're going to start games. So I'm not overly sure he'll be delighted. As much as he is a team player when he's on the pitch, he works so hard. And he'll be frustrated because there was opportunities for him today. He had a couple of half chances where he'll be disappointed he didn't score. But yeah, it's just rubbing the salt in the wounds with the way Marlon scored that goal in particular.
No, that is very, very fair enough. He's on the ball again, Marlon. And he's got Digne as an overlapping left back, and he's on the ball now. Villa pushing forward for more goals. Petrovic hesitated, headed away well. Christie on the edge of his own penalty area controls, and Milos Savljevic just thumps it into the still blue Birmingham sky. Light beginning to fade now. Sancho prods it back to Tielemans, and Tielemans will turn into his own half and keep the ball for Villa, who are preparing Evan Guessant as their final change. Foul by Eli Krupi on Tielemans, a push of frustration, and the referee just having a quiet word in his ear. Villa, who actually have 3 of the current bottom 5 over the next Premier League games, or at least 3 of the bottom 5 at the start of play, with Leeds, Wolves, Brighton to come. They've got games against Arsenal, with Europa League games against Young Boys and Basel. So an opportunity there for Villa to continue their good form in the Europa League and make headway in the Premier League table. They have very much found their feet after a difficult start. Rodgers coming off, the former Bournemouth loanee, and Evan Guessant is on in his place. And Rodgers was one of those players, Dave, that not necessarily criticised early on, but seemed to be just a little bit off it, a little bit flat early on in a Villa shirt, but whilst not on the score sheet, got the assist for the Amadou Onana goal, and looks somewhere back to the operator he was last season. Yeah,
a bit like Aston Villa. He had a frustrating start to the season, but in more recent weeks he showed the quality he has. That's not going to leave him. He's been impressive in an England shirt as well. I do think he was on the fringes of the game today, but it was a game which Villa have really dominated.
Marlon over the top again, right hand edge of the penalty area. New man Guessant back to Marlon, lovely football. Marlon for 5, well blocked by Senesi in the way. That was nicely worked, very intricate football from Villa. Marlon nearly in for his second. Semenyo on the edge of his own penalty area will clear downfield. Krupi's first time ball around the corner, nice idea, but runs out of pitch, and Villa have a throw in their left back position. West Ham up next for Bournemouth after the international break, which is coming up. Sunderland away, Everton at home, so some fixtures there that they'll certainly look at as ones they can profit from. Then it gets a little bit tougher with Chelsea at home, Manchester United away, Burnley at home, and Andoni Areola, having won, or having at least been unbeaten in their previous 8 before losing at Manchester City, have followed up that defeat with a heavy defeat here at Aston Villa. So it's often here, Dave, you trot out the cliche about whether the international break has come at a good time or a bad time. It feels for Bournemouth it may have come at a good time.
Yeah, I think so. This has been a real outlier of a performance, really. So first half they were miles off it, reacted well at the start of the second half, didn't get their rewards, and then they've been so disappointed in the way that the game has gone since that penalty miss. The character that Bournemouth usually show, they're usually relentless in their pursuit of pressing and getting high up the pitch, hasn't quite been there this afternoon, and that'll be disappointing for the travelling Bournemouth fans, for the listeners, for the ones watching it on TV. And Iraola in particular will want more from his team in the coming weeks, but a chance just to reset now for international break. The players go away, different scenery for them, and they'll be hoping they come back with a bit more confidence.
Semenyo going cross country, but his challenge, there were 3 Villa players around him, and here's Marlon, well found by Barkley, Marlon for 5, and he skews it wide terribly. He should have scored. It was really well crafted, Barkley to him, and Marlon had so much time. He opened up his body, tried to bend it into the far corner, and in the end I think it's closer to the corner flag than the bottom corner.
Really disappointing. Good break from Aston Villa. The pass from Ross Barkley was exquisite. He waited and he waited, and he rolled it in just a weight that really took Milosavljevic out of the game. And then Marlon, say, in the left-hand side of the box, good angle for him just to open his body up and try and find the far corner, but he gets no curl on it, almost like a golfer who shanks the ball, catches out at the hosel, goes towards the corner flag. Disappointing from Marlon.
Yeah, it was a bit of a shank. And again, Ollie Watkins would have been thinking, where was that chance for me?
Yeah.
Because he would have fancied a scoring that one. We have 1 minute and 10 seconds to play. This game is long gone now. Villa 4, Bournemouth 0. Bournemouth are still gamely plugging away, and Brooks now has space left-hand side of the penalty area. Onto his left foot, back across goal, might get a second chance. Very well defended. Pau Torres, who didn't panic there in the face of a situation he had every right to panic in, just calmed it down, moved his body nicely, and moves the ball away from danger, and can bring the ball out of the penalty area. And only Iraola with his arms folded in front of us. It's another game that Unai Emery has got the better of him. It's now 7 games unbeaten for the Aston Villa manager. He has long been one of the more proficient tacticians in the Premier League, Unai Emery. And we did wonder how Villa would cope with the likes of the Bournemouth high press, and bar a couple of errant Konza passes, by and large they've dealt with it very comfortably indeed.
Yeah, I don't think they've taken too many risks either. When it's gone back to Emi Martinez, if he's needed to go long, he has gone long. The only times Bournemouth have really been able to affect the press is off goal kicks, where Villa have tried to play it out, but there hasn't been too many of those. But in open play, when it goes back to Emi Martinez, Bournemouth haven't been able to get high enough up the pitch to really affect the back line of Aston Villa, apart from, like you said, a few passes in the first half from Konza. But they've looked assured in the second half. Even when Bournemouth were throwing everything at them, they never really panicked.
No, they haven't. And keeping the clean sheet intact will be really the only milestone on the wish list left for Unai Emery to tick off. Into 4 minutes of added on time, and we've nearly played a minute of that. Forest are going to win the game against Leeds because they lead 3-1 now. Elliot Anderson has scored a penalty in stoppage time, with the big one to come at 4:30 on 5 Live. Manchester City against Liverpool. You can catch all the highlights on Match of the Day tonight, 10:30 BBC One, with plenty of games and plenty of goals to look forward to as well, with 4 in this game, 4 in the game at the City ground. No goals between Palace and Brighton, with a couple of minutes to play there, and 3 goals at the G-Tech, with Brentford leading Newcastle 2-1. Villa have a free kick, edge of the Bournemouth penalty area, and with the score at the 4-0, Dave, you may as well forget about running into the corner. You may as well go for more goals, and it looks like, given that Pau Torres is forward and Konza is forward, that's exactly what Villa are looking to do.
Yeah, Tielemans on the ball as well. So the free kick's on the left-hand corner of the box. You imagine it being in-swinging one. The amount of set pieces that Aston Villa have up their sleeves, it could be something very different. But another opportunity to get that 5th goal.
Right on the angle, this near side the left. Tielemans with his right foot into the heart of the penalty area. Didn't really beat the first man, which was Christie. And now Adley can come forward for Bournemouth. Is there to be one final flourish from Bournemouth, who have been second best for the majority of this game. They had a very good spell after half-time. I'm sure, as you mentioned, Dave, Andoni Areola, when he debriefs, will point to that spell as the spell they just had to get something, and they very nearly did with that penalty. And who knows, it may well have created a bit of panic in the Villa ranks at 2-1 rather than 2-0, but that did change the game, or at least did prevent Bournemouth getting a route back into it. Christie battling on the edge of his own penalty area with Bogard, who does really well, and now Gessan runs away over halfway and was fouled by Adams. Free kick to Villa, and this is the final knockings of a game Aston Villa will look back fondly on, and Bournemouth will want to put in the rear view mirror as quickly as they possibly can.
Yeah, the game and the win for Aston Villa takes them level on points at Bournemouth. Disappointment for Bournemouth will be they have the chance to go to second before this afternoon's game, Man City and Liverpool. But Aston Villa really picked up after that disappointing start where they couldn't score goals, they couldn't win games, and they got their 4 goals at home, which has been a real fortress for them in the Unai Emery era, and that doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon.
Certainly doesn't, not on this form, and they will be moving into the top 7, replacing Bournemouth, who dropped to 9th. Very tight and congested in that numbers 2 to 10, only 3 points separating Chelsea in 2nd and Crystal Palace in 10th. Shouldn't take away from the start that Bournemouth have had to their season. There would have been a little trepidation given the players that they lost, mainly the 3 big players at the back, Milos Kerkez, Ilya Zabarnyi and Dean Huijsen, but they seem to have recruited well. But the defending has been the Achilles heel in this game, conceding 4, albeit one was a very good free kick, one a good strike from the edge of the penalty area. And that is that at Villa Park. A comfortable afternoon for Aston Villa. They have breezed past Bournemouth. 4-0 the final score. Unai Emery with a big smile on his face, heads down the touchline, nodding his head, applauding the Villa fans. Fist pump as well. He'll be delighted with what he's seen. He goes over to shake a few hands as well. Aston Villa dominant really throughout the game, bar a 15-minute spell just after half-time when Bournemouth had their moments, and the penalty that was subsequently missed by Antoine Semenyo. That would have made it 2-1, and who knows, we may have had a different game. But as soon as the third went in for Aston Villa, a Ross Barkley header, that was the game. Emi Martez, interestingly, having a word with Antoine Semenyo, and I wonder if that was, it was in your eyes, mate. He was pointing to his eyes as if to say, next time, don't make it so obvious. Antoine Semenyo, to his credit, accepted the advice gratefully, or at least gracefully, because I know a few players that may have acted a little bit differently there. But anyway, Villa were 2 up at half-time. Buendía's free kick and Onana's long-range effort. Barclay's header made it 3 off the bench, then Marlon's guided, deflected shot from Tielemans' effort made it 4. The game had long gone by then. The penalty at 2-0 was the turning point really. Bournemouth couldn't take it. Martinez good save by Semenyo's kick. And that really was that as far as Bournemouth are concerned. And their players trooped to that far side to take the acclaim from their fans who have travelled in numbers, are applauding. They've still had a very good start to the season. But Dave Edwards, not their day today. Villa were always that little bit better.
Yeah, it was an impressive Aston Villa performance off the back of European conquest in the week as well. You never quite know how much energy they'll have left. I know it's a much changed team, but just that takes everything out of you. And as a fan base as well, turning up on a Thursday night, coming back on the Sunday. But the atmosphere was incredible right from the very first minute. The attitude of the players was spot on. The intensity they pressed that in that first half, that really blew Bournemouth away. Got the 2-0 lead. And barring a really strong start to the second half of Bournemouth, that 20-minute spell away from that Aston Villa were well worthy of scoring the 4 goals and maybe more.
Amadou Onana is leading the celebrations in front of the Holte End with the fist pumps and the Holte End responding in kind.